Welcome to the viewers for the lecture on RCC. So in the last two lectures we have introduced retaining walls, and in the lecture number 151 we have discussed the different components and the behavior of that retaining wall, where tension occurs, where we have to provide main reinforcement, and also in what direction we have to provide the main reinforcement, and the different stability checks. Then in the last lecture, lecture number 152, we have discussed a numerical problem on the design of a cantilever retaining wall. So in this lecture, we will take the next topic, namely counterfort retaining wall. So cantilever retaining walls can be used for heights up to 6 meters. For more than 6 meters, it becomes uneconomical because the size of the members will be large, and so generally we'll go for the counterfort retaining wall for heights more than 6 meters. In the case of counterfort retaining walls, the different components are the upright slab. So the stem was the name for the vertical wall in the case of a cantilever retaining wall. It was acting like a stem as a cantilever. Now here the vertical wall is called upright slab. Upright slab is the more correct term, upright slab. But that is generally used in books as stem for this also. But anyway, that opinion differs, right? Now, upright slab is one component, toe slab is another component, as we have discussed earlier, and the heel slab is another component. These are the three components, and the upright slab is supported on the backfill side by means of counterforts. Counterforts are intermediate supports that are provided at intervals of 3 meters or 3.5 meters. Therefore, the upright slab here will act as a continuous slab, continuous horizontal slab. So we will discuss all these things because here I am not going to discuss the numerical problem and the procedure separately. We are going to combine both in the numerical problem itself. So just I will start and then I will go to the numerical example, so that yes, these are the different components. The figure on the right hand side shows the plan of the retaining wall. So in which you can see the supports, they are the counterforts. So between the so here also the wall will be subjected to lateral earth pressure. Between supports, this will act as a horizontal continuous slab. So the behavior as a horizontal continuous slab is shown on the figure on the left hand side. So where tensile cracks occur, how the pressure is getting transferred to the side wall, etc. So between the midway between the supports, the tension occurs outside as a slab. So the reinforcement will be in the horizontal direction, whereas in the case of stem, the main reinforcement was a vertical direction. Here, since it behaves as a horizontal continuous slab, so the main reinforcement midway between the counterforts, midway between the supports, will be away from the backfill side in the horizontal direction. On the counterfort section, at the section of supports, the tensile cracks occur near the backfill side. Therefore, the reinforcement again will be horizontal, but it is near the counterfort. So this is the behavior, location, and direction of the main reinforcement. Now other components we will discuss along with the problem. So now we will take up a problem design a counterfort retaining wall to the following particulars. Overall height 7.5 meters. So more than 6 meters you'll have to go for, because sometimes they will give design a suitable retaining wall. So when the height is more than 6 meters, we can automatically choose a counterfort retaining wall, unless even without giving the type of retaining wall, we must be able to choose. Angle of repose of soil 30 degrees. Spacing of counterforts 3 meters. Top toe slab to be supported by front counterforts. On the front side also we are going to provide counterforts. Right. And unit weight of soil 17,000 Newton per meter cube. Safe bearing capacity of soil 200 kilonewton per square meter. Use M20 concrete and Fe415 steel. Of course, these are the different drawings that are required, right? So height is 7.5 meter, angle of repose. These are the data we are going to use in the problem. Spacing 3 meters, unit weight of soil, bearing capacity, concrete and steel. This is the data, right? Now coming to the solution. Height of the retaining wall is 7.5 meters, angle of repose is 30 degrees. Therefore, Ka equal to 1 minus sin phi by 1 plus sin. Here also the backfill is horizontal. Backfill is given, it is not mentioned here. When nothing is mentioned, backfill is horizontal, that's all. When nothing is mentioned, backfill is horizontal, right? So therefore Ka equal to 1 minus sin phi by 1 plus sin phi. Because if it is at an angle of surcharge, at an angle of inclination alpha, then the formula for Ka will be different. Say cos alpha into cos alpha minus root of cos square alpha minus cos square phi divided by cos alpha plus root of cos square alpha plus cos square phi. So that is different. Now here backfill is horizontal, therefore it is 1 minus sin phi by 1 plus sin phi only. Thickness of the base slab. Here in the case of counterfort retaining wall, the thickness of the base slab is assumed from bending moment consideration and shear force consideration. So from bending moment consideration, it is 41.7 into L root H. So L is the spacing between the counterforts, supports, and H is root of 7. H is 7.5, root H is root 7.5. So this is backfill horizontal case. Suppose if the backfill is at an angle of surcharge alpha, then in the formula 41.7 into L into root H plus 0.7 you have to add. H plus 0.7. So 7.5 plus 0.7. Now here backfill is horizontal, right? That we must be aware, right? So this gives 343 mm. The next formula is D equal to 20 LH. So 20 into L is 3 meters, H is 7.5 equal to 450 mm. One is from bending moment consideration, the other one is from shear force consideration. These are the formulas available. Therefore, from these two values, we can decide what is the base slab thickness. So base slab thickness, let us assume, let us provide a 500 mm thick base slab. We are getting two values, out of which one is 450, the other one is 343. So let us assume a base slab thickness of 500 mm. So this is the cross section of the retaining wall. Cross section of the retaining wall. Top width, as usual, we have 0.2 and 0.2. 0.2 we will have as the top width of the counterfort. Right. So and the height of the overall height of the wall is 7.5. We assumed the base thickness as 0.5 meter. Therefore, the height of the upright slab is 7 meters. 7.5 minus 0.5 equal to 7 meters. So this is earth pressure diagram. So Ka and gamma H is the intensity of earth pressure at the bottom. So 1 minus sin phi, 1 plus sin phi into gamma is 17,000 and H is 7 meters at the bottom of the upright slab. Right. And these proportions will discuss and then come back, other dimensions. So that's about the base slab and this thing, right. So this is the plan. So the spacing between the counter force L equal to 3 meters. So on the other right hand side we have the heel slab, on the other side we have toe slab, and it is mentioned that the upright slab is supported by front counter force. Therefore on the other side also we provide counter force, and for which we have to design the height. We have to design the height of the counter force. On the other side it will be up to the top, main counter force. Front counter force we are going to design. Right? So how to design the front counter force, etc. we'll discuss. One more point here is, when front counter force are not provided, the toe slab will act as a cantilever, as in the case of a cantilever retaining wall. When front counter force are provided, the toe slab will also behave as a continuous slab. So what are the loads and how it will behave, we'll discuss subsequently one by one. This requires, because we are combining both, so we'll discuss little leisurely so that the viewers can find it comfortable to understand. Right. So H is 7 meters. Intensity of lateral earth pressure, as we have discussed, Ka into gamma into H, 39,667. Now, the upright slab is designed as a horizontal continuous slab. For horizontal continuous slab, we have to take the bottom 1 meter deep strip, bottom 1 meter, where the pressure is maximum. We are going to adopt uniform thickness. We will vary the reinforcements, but we will have uniform thickness. But for arriving at the thickness, we have to consider the pressure in the bottom 1 meter height. Bottom 1 meter also, we are going to take the maximum pressure, namely 39,667 is the pressure that we are going to consider for the calculations. 39,667 as you got it here. Right. Upright slab is designed as a horizontal continuous slab, and considering the bottom 1 meter deep strip of the slab, maximum bending moment equal to plus or minus PL square by 12. Plus or minus PL square by 12. At center, it is plus PL square by 12, causing tension away, and near the supports, it is PL square by 12, causing tension near the counter force side. Right. So plus or minus PL square by 12 equal to this value, 29,750.25, and the factored moment equal to partial safety factor times that moment, that is equal to 44,625.375. So that's about the moment. So continuous beam, horizontal continuous slab, horizontal continuous slab. Therefore, it is 44,625 point something Newton meter. We have substituted the force in terms of Newton and distance in terms of meter. Therefore, and for M20 concrete and Fe 415 steel, we have to design the thickness. For designing the thickness, in page number 94 of the IS 456, we have the formula for a balanced section. The limiting moment of resistance as a singly reinforced section is 0.36 XVmax by D, 1 minus 0.42 XVmax by D, BD square FCK. It's a formula in the code book. And for Fe 415 steel, XVmax by D is equal to 0.48. That again is available in IS 456. And FCK is 20. So substituting all the values, we get mu limit equal to 0.138 BD square into FCK. So FCK is 20. So substituting 20 mu limit equal to 2.76 BD square. Either we can say 2.76 BD square or 0.138 FCK BD square. Right? That's the formula for the moment of resistance, limiting moment of resistance. So equating the limiting moment of resistance to the maximum bending moment, that is equal to 44,625.375 kilonewton Newton meter. Here, equating the bending moment to the moment of resistance, we get the thickness. So here again we are considering 1 meter length. 1 meter length. 1 meter is 1000 mm. Substituting, you get D equal to 127.2. But for a 7.5 meter height of wall, we will provide a minimum thickness of 200 mm. Let us provide a minimum thickness of 200 mm for the upright slab. Therefore, effective depth is equal to 200 minus 40. 200 minus 40 is equal to 160 mm. So, a toe projection generally is 1/4 of the base width, 1/4 of the total base width. So, before that, we have to first find out the width of the base slab. So, width of the base slab will be provided as 0.6h to 0.7h. 0.6 times overall height, 0.6 times 7.5 to 0.7 times 7.5, that is equal to 4.5 to 5.25 meters. So let us have a base width of 4.8 meters. We can choose any value between 4.5 to 5.25. Let us choose B equal to 4.8 meters. Right. Now toe projection is equal to 1/4 of the base width. So base width 4.8. So 1/4 of that is equal to 1.2 meters. Right. Therefore, length of the heel equal to 4.8 is the total base width. 1.2 is the length of the toe slab. 0.2 is the width of the upright slab. So remaining value is equal to 3.4. Right. So before going to the stability calculations, now we will check the figure again for this 3.4, 1.2, 4 point, etc. We will have again an idea about the cross section of the wall. Right. Now we can see the base width is 4.8 and the length of the heel is 3.4 meters. Length of the toe slab is 1.2 meters. So, and in between you have 0.2. 0.2 is the width of the upright slab. Width of the upright slab. Pressure intensity is 39,667. So, all the dimensions are there. Right. This is about the plan. So, we must have an idea about the different components first. Right. So, that's about the dimensions. We have proportioned the different dimensions. So, after proportioning the dimensions, we have designed the thickness for the upright slab. We are to find out the reinforcement. Before that, let us do the stability check. Now, coming to the stability check, as we have done in the case of a cantilever retaining wall, here also we have to find out the maximum pressure and minimum pressure. What we will do is we will take the moment about the heel end, right bottom, about that bottom. So here we are going to consider this is the plan of the wall. So between the counter force, between the two supports, we will consider any 1 meter, between. Therefore, counter force will not come into the picture. Any 1 meter between the two, because the distance between the counter force is equal to 3 meters. We are going to consider any 1 meter. Therefore, counter force will not come into the picture in the calculations now. So here, as before, we have the weight of the upright slab, On the right hand side, we have backfill, horizontal backfill. So weight of backfill on the length of the heel. The length of the heel equal to 3.4 meters. Length of the heel equal to 3.4 meters. Length of the toe slab is 1.2 meters. 2 meters. Then weight of base slab. So here the weights are one is weight of the upright slab. It's a uniform rectangle. Then weight of the backfill. Then weight of the base slab, and lateral earth pressure. These are the values that are going to be considered in the calculations. We are going to find out the resultant of all these things. So that's what we have done earlier. Here also we are going to do the stability calculations for 1 meter run of the wall. So the upright slab, 0.2 into 7 meters into 25,000, into 1 meter length of course. 0.2 into 7 will be the area, into 1 meter will give you the volume, into 25,000 Newton per meter cube. So that gives 35,000. The distance of from A, that is here, distance from A, here the bottom of the toe slab, from A, it is 3.4 plus 0.2 by 2, that is 3.5. 3.4 plus 0.2 by 2, that is equal to 3.5. So 3.5. So 35,000 into 3.5 is equal to 122,500. Then W2. W2 is the weight of the base slab. Weight of the length of the base slab is 4.8 meters. Thickness we have assumed as 0.5 meter into 1 meter length into 25,000. That is equal to 60,000. Into the length of the heel slab is 4.8 meters. So by 2 is 2.4 meters. So 144,000. That is the moment about the bottom of the right end of the heel slab. Right. So WS is the weight of soil. Weight of soil is 3.4 into 7 into 17,000. So that is weight of soil is 3.4 is the length of the heel into 7 meters height on the top of the heel slab into unit weight of soil is 17,000. So 25,000 is unit weight of concrete, 17,000 is unit weight of soil. So that is equal to 687,820 Newton meter. So the moment due to pressure equal to Ka into gamma into capital HQ by 6. So that is 1/3 of 17,000 into Ka is 1 by 3, 7.5 cube by 6. So that gives, so that will not cause any vertical load. So it is lateral earth pressure acting at 1 by 3, H by 3 from the base. So H is 7.5 capital H because we are checking the stability of the entire height of the wall. So that gives the total pressure. So that gives the total vertical force and the total moment. So this is about the dimensions. Considering 1 meter length of wall in between, therefore the counter force will not be available here. You are considering 1 meter in between. So these are the different forces. These forces we have accounted in the tabulation W1, W2, Ws, etc. Right. Now we are going to find out the resultant of W1, W2, Ws, P, horizontal force, vertical force, etc. The resultant of all these 4 forces will be acting at an angle of inclination because it consists of both vertical force and horizontal force. It will be at an angle of inclination at some point Z meters from A, Z meters from the point A. So that is marked as distance Z. So that value Z is given by sigma m is the last column, 135, 27, 57.5. Sigma w is the second column, 499, 600. So the moment divided by that force will give you Z is equal to position of the resultant force from the heel end A equal to sigma m by sigma w. So that is from the tabulation these values are available. The distance is 2.708 meters. So we will check the eccentricity. Eccentricity is Z. Z gives the position from A, position of the resultant from A. That is at the distance of 2.708 meters. So eccentricity is equal to, by what distance it is from the center of the base, E equal to Z minus B by 2. 2.708 minus 4.8 by 2 equal to 0.308 meters. Now we have to check whether the value of E is less than B by 6 or more than B by 6. So B by 6 is 4.8 by 6 equal to 0.8 meters. Our E is 0.308. Therefore, E equal to B by 6. As I told earlier, we divide the base 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 if the resultant falls within the middle third, or in other words, if the eccentricity is not more than B by 6, the total B will be under compression. Suppose when E is more than B by 6, when tension occurs, what to do? That we will discuss later. Right now E is less than B by 6, therefore it will be under compression. Now let us find out the pressure. The pressure is equal to W by B into 1 plus or minus 6E by B. W by B into 1 plus or minus. As we have discussed in the case of cantilever retaining wall, same procedure, finding out the maximum and minimum pressure. So W is available in the second column of the stability calculation table. Just now we have seen. So that is the value we have used in, say, in the calculation of Z also, second line. Z also, Z is equal to sigma M by sigma W. So that is from the stability calculation table, W by B into 1 plus or minus 6 E by B. E equal to 0.308 meter. 308 meters. So W by B into this value. Right. So this gives P max and P minimum. So value 1 plus that value will give P max, 1 minus will give you the value of P minimum. We find that this is less than the safe bearing capacity. Safe bearing capacity, I think it is 200 Newton per mm square, 200 kilonewton per square meter. Now here it is only 144 kilonewton per square meter. Therefore, the maximum pressure is less than the safe bearing capacity of soil. And this is the pressure diagram. Now, pressure diagram I can just go through, because the values are to be used in the calculations later. Right. 144 and 64,011. 64,011, that is about the maximum pressure. Right. Now design of upright slab. Design of upright slab, already we have decided the thickness, overall thickness and effective thickness already. So we have not only assumed, we have designed the thickness 200 mm. So we have designed the reinforcement. So using class G 1.1b of IS 456, page number 96. So we are going to use this in all designs repeatedly we are using. So you are familiar with this formula. So this is for finding out the steel. Mu is the value, we just got it. Mu is the value already we have. Mu 44,625.375. Yes. Here we have the value of mu. Mu equal to 44,625.375. 1.5 times 29 something, right? That is 44. So that's what we are going to use there when you find out the area of steel. Yes. 44,625.375 into 10 power 3 equal to 0.87. Fy is for 415 for tar steel. AST unknown, that's what you are going to find out. D, effective depth is equal to 160 mm. AST Fy by B is 1000, 1 meter. B equal to 1 meter. D 160 mm. FCK is 20 Newton per mm square. Substituting all the values, you will have to form a quadratic equation. Solving the quadratic equation, AST equal to 870.8 mm square. Minimum steel is, when we use tar steel, it is 0.12% of the total cross-sectional area. Therefore, the required reinforcement is more than the minimum. Required is 870, minimum is 240. Therefore, provide 870.8 mm square using 16 mm diameter bars. Spacing equal to area of 1 bar into 1000 by AST required. It's a standard formula, right? 201 for 16 mm diameter bars. Pi by 4 into 16 square will give you 201. 201 into 1000 by 870.8 equal to 230 mm center to center. So let us use 16 mm diameter bars at 200 mm center to center. Right. So that is about the main reinforcement. Main reinforcement is of 16 mm diameter bars, 200 mm center to center. We know that we are going to provide the steel in the horizontal direction because the slab is going to behave as a horizontal continuous slab in the horizontal direction. So in the cross section, the bars will look like dots or circles, right? We'll discuss. Coming to distribution steel, we'll use minimum percentage. Minimum percentage is 240 mm square. Just now we have got it. So spacing of 8 mm diameters. When we use 8 mm diameter bars, spacing equal to 209. We are going to provide distribution steel on both sides. So we will provide the steel as or at 150 mm spacing. When we provide on both faces, we will provide at 300 mm spacing. 0 right hand side means 150 left hand side, 300 right hand side, 450 left hand side, like that. Therefore, on each face it will be available 300 mm center to center, but practically it is available at 150 mm center to center. So that's about the distribution steel for the main reinforcement. Now this gives the location of the main reinforcement, that is the section that is shown on the left hand side is midway between the counterforce. Midway between the counterforce, we know that the tension occurs on the outer side, that is away from the backfill side. So we provide the steel in the horizontal direction away from the backfill side. On the section of the counterforce, that is in the figure on the right hand side, we know that the tension will be on the counterforce side. So the same reinforcement will be provided. So two sections, one midway between the counterforce left hand side, second one on the counterforce section. So you can just have a look at the cross section before coming to the plan. So now you look at only the reinforcement for the upright slab. Right. Now to make things more clear, we will take up, forget about heel main rods, toe main rods, that will discuss later, will come later, right. Now this is, we know, already we have discussed, this is the lateral pressure that is transferred on the upright slab and its behavior as a horizontal continuous slab, and also the location of the tensile cracks. So this will, what is I have discussed about the figure on the right hand side. On the left hand side, this is the plan of the counterforce retaining wall, and also counterforce and location of main reinforcement. This is in plan. In plan we will see this as lines, but in section we will see the reinforcement as dots, because this contains number of components, and what we have shown is only the main reinforcement. Assembling everything, when you look at the reinforcement, you will find this is very congested. It is not at all so. We have to understand the components, behavior, steel, direction, one by one, step by step, component by component. Then the problem will not be difficult, right? So this is about the upright slab reinforced. Upright slab means reinforced in plan, that is on the left hand side, right hand side behavior, and in the cross section, see only the reinforcement only for the upright slab, right. Coming to next one. Right. Now we have decided the main reinforcement. Main reinforcement is 20 mm diameter, 16 mm diameter bars, 16 mm diameter bars at 200 mm center to center. This 200 mm center to center need not be provided up to the top, because we have considered the pressure at the highest value, that is 7 meters. For that pH we have just calculated this spacing. So when you go towards the top, H will become less, the pressure will become less, the bending moment will become less, so the area of steel also required area steel required will also be less. So here in the case of counterfeit retaining wall, the it is proportional to h square. Previously in the case of cantilever retaining wall, you have assumed h1 cube by h cube. Now here it is h1 square by h square, right? So derivation and other things let us avoid here. So just to take it as granted, h1 square by h square. So if h square, that is the bottom, 7 meters, is the level at which you provide 100% reinforcement, what we assume is in at h1 at some level from the top, we assume that 50% of the reinforcement is enough. We are going to curtail 50% of rain. That means if you provide 2 bars at the bottom, you are going to provide 1 bar at the top. So that formula gives you h1 equal to 4.95 meters. That means from 0 to 4.95 meters, if you provide 1 bar, from 4.95 to 7 meters, you provide 2 bars, or vice versa. So hence for the bottom 2.05 meters, 16 mm diameter bars will be provided at 200 mm center to center, and for the remaining top 4.95 meters, the bars will be provided at 400 mm center to center, double the spacing. So that we'll have to mark in the cross section also. When we draw the cross section, for the bottom 2.05 meters, you'll have to show 16 mm diameter bars at 200 mm center to center. Above that, 16 mm diameter bars at 400 mm center to center. That we have to clearly mark in the drawing. So that completes the design of the upright slab. Upright slab design is over. Next is that of the design of the toe slab. Design of the toe slab. Now here, in the toe slab, we have provided front counterforts. Supports on the backfill side, supports on the front side also. Same at the same spacing. As I told, we will not provide for the full height. We are going to design what is the depth of the counterfort. Before that, the toe slab, if front counterforts are not provided, it will act as a cantilever, as in the case of a cantilever retaining wall. Now in this problem, I have specifically given front counterforts. That means the front counterforts also will behave as a continuous slab. What type of loading? We know that on the toe slab side, the upward pressure is maximum. Downward pressure is only the self weight of the toe slab. Above the toe slab, there may be a small amount of earth that we can ignore, because our design will be only on the safer side, right? Because it is going to be subjected to net upward pressure. Therefore, on the toe slab side, we will not consider the upward pressure. Upward pressure here, we need not consider the entire pressure. We can take the highest pressure, because we are going to give the design for the worst condition. Worst condition, at the free end, we have the highest pressure. We need not take average and all these things. So at the end of the heel slab, we know that it is 144, 155, 144. Once again, for verification, this is the pressure diagram. The pressure diagram, left hand side, it is 144, 155. Similarly, on the right hand side, when we design the heel slab, we will design 1 meter at the right end of the heel slab, because there only we are going to have a maximum downward pressure and a minimum upward pressure. The minimum value is 64,011. Anyway, coming to toe slab, it is the highest value is 144, 155, 155. This is the yes. This is the design of the toe slab. Yes, this is what we have been discussing, right? Now coming to the toe slab, the upward pressure at the end of the toe slab, highest pressure, is 144.15, that is in the upward direction. The self height of the toe slab is 0.5 into 25,000. 0.5 into 25,000. 0.5 25,000 equal to, we are considering 1 meter width. 1 meter width of the slab into 1 meter length of the slab. 1 meter length, 1 meter width. We are going to find out the pressure per square meter, Newton per square meter. So 1 meter length, 1 meter width, thickness is 0.5. That is why that 1 into 1 is not available. 0.5 into 25,000. That is the self height of the heel slab. So net upward pressure is equal to 131,655 Newton per meter square. As I told, the toe slab will act as a continuous slab subjected to net upward pressure. Net upward pressure. So it is plus or minus QL square by 12. Previously you used P, now you are using Q. QL square by 12. So QL square by 12 is 131,655 into 3 square. Again, center to center spacing of the counter force is 3 meters. QL square by 12. So that is 98,741, etc. And the factored moment equal to 1.5 times 1.5 times that value equal to 148,111.875 Newton meter. So here again we need not we ought to take the thickness. We assume the thickness as 500 mm, thickness 500, cover is 60 mm, thickness 500 minus 60 equal to 440 mm, 440 mm, right. So because we have, in this case, we have assumed the thickness at the beginning from bending moment consideration and also from shear force consideration. We found that the thickness requirement from bending moment consideration is less, shear force consideration is more. So we record a highest value as 450 mm, we have assumed 500 mm. Therefore, this will satisfy the requirements. Therefore, we need not check the thickness, right. So straight away find out the value of AST. Again, this is the usual formula available in the code book. So substitute the values, bending moment, AST, Fy, D is 440 mm, and the standard value is just substitute and calculate the steel as usual. This will not require any explanation. So area of steel equal to 977 mm square. So using 16 mm diameter bars, spacing is equal to 206 mm. That is area of 1 bar into 1000 by AST required. So 16 mm diameter bars will be provided at 180 mm center to center as shown in figure. And AST provided equal to area of 1 bar into 1000 by spacing adopted. So there we have got spacing required, where there we have used AST required at the denominator. Now here we have provided some spacing. Therefore AST provided equal to area of 1 bar into 1000 by AST, spacing adopted. So 1117 mm square, right. The important point here is this is 16 mm diameter bars at 180 mm center to center. I told that the base slab will behave as a horizontal continuous slab. So this is the toe slab. Toe slab will be subjected to net upward pressure. So we can see the behavior when it is subject to net upward pressure. At the center we will have tension at the top. So we have to provide the reinforcement at the top, reinforcement in the horizontal direction. At the section of counterfort, the tension will occur at the bottom. So from the loading we can understand this figure. So for both section midway between the counterforts And also for the section of the counterfort, you have to provide steel in the horizontal direction. This is in the longitudinal elevation, a longitudinal section. Therefore, in the cross section, these bars will appear as circles or dots. So this is the longitudinal direction. Now we'll see the cross section. Before seeing the cross section, we have to imagine that these bars will appear as circles or dots in the cross section, right? And midway between the counterforts, the dots will be on the top. You can see the drawing. Dots will be on the top. At the section of the counterfort, the dots will be at the bottom. Because if this is clearly understood now, understanding any drawing with the full reinforcement will not be difficult. Right. Therefore, that is why spending a little more time, nothing wrong. So now we can see the cross section once again. Yes. Now we can see the toe slab reinforcement. Say on the left hand side. Midway between the counterforts, that is in the figure on the left hand side, the steel is at the top. And on the section of the counterforts, that is the reinforcement, the figure on the right hand side, the steel is at the bottom. They are looking like dots or circles. Of course, it is approximately drawn because number of bars is roughly given. So location and direction and understanding is important. Now once again, just remembering this figure, once again we will see the longitudinal section. So midway between counterforts at the top, section of counterforts at the bottom. Right. Once again we will see the longitudinal section. Right. Yes, this is what we have discussed. Now I think things will be clear now. That is as far as the toe slab is concerned. Right. This is minimum steel. We have not designed the minimum distribution steel. Minimum steel is 0.2% of the base slab. Here, base slab is 500 mm thick. For the base slab, you will have to assume 0.2%. 0.2 by 100 into 1000 into 500 is equal to 1000 mm square. Spacing of 12 mm diameter bars is 113 mm center to center. So we will provide 12 mm diameter distributors at 100 mm center to center. 12 mm distributors, 100 mm center. So this will be provided in the perpendicular direction. Right. Now here one point to be checked here is the minimum steel is 1000 mm square. Right. What about the main reinforcement? Main reinforcement we have provided only AST equal to 977 mm square. That is a requirement. But there also we should have checked the minimum reinforcement is 1000 mm square. But however, we have provided, we know that AST provided just above the figure, we can see AST provided is equal to 1117 mm square. Therefore, we have provided more than the minimum. So this point is to be checked. We should not provide less than the minimum as the main reinforcement and minimum steel as distribution steel. These are the points to be checked. So that's about the design of the toe slab. Right. Next is a design of the heel slab. So coming to design of the heel slab, as I told earlier, we have to take 1 meter of the heel slab near the heel end. So figure is here. So near the heel end, because even if it is going to be subjected to net downward force. When it is subjected to net downward force, the highest the highest height is on the right hand side, because even the angle of the backfill is at an angle of surcharge, you will have maximum height at the heel end, so producing maximum downward force. And coming to upward pressure, the minimum upward pressure is at the heel end. Therefore, that will give you the worst condition for that design. Therefore, we consider 1 meter of the heel slab near the heel end, where the downward pressure is maximum and upward pressure is minimum. Right. Now, the weight of soil, here in this case the weight of backfill is horizontal only. Backfill is only horizontal. Right. So, 17,000 into 7. That means we are going to consider 1 meter length, 1 meter width, and the height of soil is 7 meters. So 1 into 1 into 7, so they are missing 1 into 1 into 7 into 17,000 is, that is a downward force. Then self weight of the heel slab, 0.5 into 25,000, that is 12,500. Although again that is also 1 into 1 into 0.5 into 25,000. So these two will be the downward force. There is no surcharge load, backfill is not at an angle of inclination. Now in this problem we have got only these two downward forces. Coming to upward force, as I told earlier, the minimum upward pressure at the right end is 64,011. So subtracting, the net downward load is 67,489 Newton per mm square. Now this slab is again supported between counter force. So this will be subjected to net downward force as we have calculated, 67,489 downwards. So this will also act as a continuous slab subjected to downward force. That means midway between the counter force, the tension will be at the bottom, and on the section of the counter force, the tension will be at the top. Right. So this will behave as a horizontal continuous slab subjected to a net downward force. So maximum horizontal slab, so maximum bending moment equal to plus or minus QL square by 12. So Q is 67,489, just now we have calculated. L is 3 meters. So this is the bending moment, and we are doing limit state design. Therefore, factored bending moment equal to partial safety factor times this bending moment. And again, we need not check the thickness. Directly go to the design of the reinforcement. So design of reinforcement, we know the bending moment and all other values are already discussed. So the reinforcement is 489. 489 is the minimum value. 20,000 is too much. 20,000 is not the value. 489 is very less. So you go for minimum steel. Minimum is 1000 mm square. Minimum is 1000 mm square. That also we have got it recently. Right. As in the toe slab, here also 16 mm diameter bars will be provided at 180 mm center to center. So AST provided is 1117 mm square. So distribution steel, as before, 12 mm diameter bars will be provided at 110 mm center to center. Now the important point is only after this, right? Now this is the heel slab. This is the heel slab. Now heel slab is subjected to net downward pressure. Again, it is a continuous slab. So we know tension occurs midway between the counter force. Tension occurs at the bottom, tensile cracks, and also the reinforcement is provided in the horizontal direction. This is the longitudinal section. So cross section means these reinforcements look like dots at the bottom, right? At the section of the counter fort, again it is horizontal because tensile cracks occur on the top. You have to provide the steel at the top. So in the longitudinal section, this look like rods, lines. In the cross section, it will look like dots or circles, small circles. So this diagram, please see this once. We'll just again go back to the cross section. Midway between the section, the steel is at the bottom. counterforce section, the steel is at the top, right. Yes, this is the cross section. Now we can see the reinforcement in the heel slab. So the diagram on the left hand side is midway between the counterforce, steel at the bottom. Right hand side is on the section of the counterforce, the steel at the top. So we have to see the location of the main reinforcement in the upright slab, heel slab, and toe slab, heel slab and toe slab. So that's about the cross section. So here we have not included the distribution reinforcement. I don't want to congest everything in the same diagram, but finally you have to assemble everything in the same diagram, right. So here in the distribution steel will be in the vertical direction in the upright slab, and the distribution steel in the heel slab as well as toe slab will appear as lines, horizontal lines. So that has to be included. That has to be included. Right. So that's about the design of the base slab. Still, we have to design the main counterforce and reinforcement, front counterforce and reinforcement, then connection between the main counterforce and the upright slab, and connection between the base slab and the counterforce. These things are pending. Let us have the continuation of this in the next lecture. For the time being, we will stop with this. We will discuss those designs. We will continue those designs in the next lecture. Right? Thank you.